Welcome everyone to our traditional second of the year What's New in Finance and Supply Chain Management for the Wave 2 release. I'll be taking you through a bit of a whistle stop on what's good, what's to look out for, and some genuinely exciting and improving features that we're going to be seeing. I'm Chris Tilley, Enterprise Architect at HSO, and Debbie Perry is supporting me with the admin and making sure things run smoothly, and she'll be presenting this as an online session for you to review if you wish. So usual agenda, run through some useful information, where to find things, where to find information, a bit of a general overview, very quick on kind of the themes. I'm sure you can probably guess what most of the themes are if you've been keeping up with the latest technology developments. And then I'll have a quick look at finance and supply chain management. We don't have long, and as we're looking at the pre-release plans, no demos today. So I grab screenshots and grab information where I can. And as we go through the year, the early part of next year, we'll start to provide some demos for you. So if there's anything that you see today or anything you're aware of and you'd really like to see someone like myself or one of my colleagues go through it, just drop myself or Debbie a note and make that request. And if we can help you out, we will do. And we'll run a demo like this. So where to get the information, as you can see there, there's a useful link there. They're published around kind of July and I think January each year. And within those dates, you can also find when they're likely to be released. A slightly more easy to consume style is this release planner. So you can sign into that link you can see there, and you can add the features that are interesting to you. So you can click the little plus, as you can see here. These little pluses will add it to the release plans for you. And as you can see on the left hand side there, there's all of the other applications that are covered by this release planner, and it allows you to build kind of a little feature set that you're watching. Maybe you want to know when they're released, when the previews are available, and then you can kind of go there and put your release plan together. There's also a launch event hosted by Charles Lamanna, as you can see, who's the corporate VP for the business and industry and co-pilot at Microsoft. So he's a good speaker and will take you through the features with a lot more demos as well. So they dive in on some specific features and show you, make them come to life. And the release timeline is October 24, so kind of a couple of months ago through March 25, and some things are phased by region. So some are US first. So if you have access to a US environment, you can just deploy one in the US. If you're using lifecycle services, you can access those preview features. And just one other thing I wanted to mention before I jump into the actual features that are getting released is the Microsoft Learn Challenge. For those of you on the call who are vaguely technically oriented or just interested in learning about what's new, what you can do specifically around AI and data, there's quite a lot of paths you could choose. A couple I'd suggest: Trustworthy AI Solutions and the agents in Copilot Studio are good, and they will get you up to speed and get you a bit hands-on as well with the latest tooling. So the key themes, I think ubiquitous in the industry now is AI. So what is it? What can it do for us? How can it help? Up to the last couple of years, I was a bit of a cynic, if I'm quite honest. But now recently, in the last year or so, the capabilities have really come to fruition, and they're actually getting incredibly useful within the app. There's already features and workspaces popping up in finance and supply chain, and of course the other apps like sales and field service, which just help you do your job. So things like if you've got a delayed purchase order, for example, there's an hour workspace up and running. You don't have to do any configuration, you just access it, and it tells you which of your downstream orders are impacted, such as sales orders or production orders, which may rely on those purchase orders. So yeah, the big theme is autonomous. We want to automate our finance processes, automate our supply chain process where possible, allowing you to focus on what's important. And that comes with in-app Copilot capabilities. And Copilot is just Microsoft kind of AI chatbot, really. But there's a lot more under the hood. If you go and watch that, follow that Microsoft Learn course I highlighted, you'll learn a lot about it. And persona-based experiences, all they mean is targeted for your role, make your role easier. Things come to you, exceptions come to you for you to manage, and trying to reduce any of the kind of not value-adding manual processes. Extract this, look for this problem transaction, compare that to that, do these variance analysis. They're trying to remove all of that for you so that you can just focus on the things that add value. And of course, expanded country coverage for all of the features. But first off, I'll just mention business performance. For those who haven't been on the previous calls and unaware of it, business performance analytics comprises planning, and the analytics. They're separate tools. They live on the Dataverse, so that's a Power Platform type interface, and you do need at least, I think it's at least one Finance Premium license, but you may have to buy a minimum of 10. It depends on how many you've got already. So you do need that Finance Premium license to modify. And it kind of looks like this. So just grabbed a couple of reports for you there, so you can see. The one on the left is trial balance, as you can see. So that would be the analytics, and the bottom right one is planning. So it allows you to do kind of what if scenarios and planning cycle management, and pull those things together in a quick and relatively easy manner. So the new in business performance planning and analytics, they've introduced some new data models. So you can see there, record to report is what you'd expect. Comprehensive view of financial performance, regulatory compliance. The key processes such as general ledger and your budgeting, financial dimensions, all of that's in a data model to make it to make basically that data available for you to plan and design your reports outside of Dynamics Finance in a kind of purpose-built tool. So it allows you to get more accurate, timeliness of financial statements, better strategic planning, decision making, all of that. So the acquire to dispose, similar. It gives you access to a data model, but this is particularly around assets. Your fixed assets tracking, valuations, detailed financial visibility on those assets, so that you can see what you've got, how much it's worth, kind of the life cycle of it, without needing to be in Dynamics itself, the finance UI. And the order to cash as a process. Invoicing, payment processing, all the detailed sales data you'd need, such as sales orders, pick list, invoices, all of that kind of stuff. So you can manage your revenue, reduce operating costs if you can find areas to cut costs there, and finally procure to pay. So all of these models are now released or will be released to enhance your ability to report. And just a quick look at some of the types of reports you can expect to be building. Some of these will come out of the box, and some you can build yourself. And you can see we're diving down into a particular legal entity here and having a look at a specific vendor balances and aging. And your purchase orders. You can dive as deep and as detailed as you want. Some general improvements. Again, we're still in the business performance planning and analytics here. There's generative help, and that uses AI to give you no longer static help when you press F1 or you click the help button, but it searches and summarizes Microsoft Learn content, for example, gives you a list of prompt guides to say, like starter prompts, as in how do I search and how do I use this tool? How do I use this help and get the best out of it? And you can link to content sites as part of the generative answer. So all that means is where is this answer coming from? So how do I access the record to report data model? You can put that in and it will give you advice, and you can continue the conversation with the chatbot to find out exactly how you progress. So it should really help with actually using these tools, because when you first open them, they do seem a little hard to get going with, but once you have a bit of a play around, they make a lot more sense. The drivers and the formulas are in the business performance tools now. They used to be in Power BI. They can still be in Power BI, but it just allows you to do more within the tool itself. Dimension row level security is about precise control over data and ensuring compliance. So using those of you aware of Dataverse and the Power BI security models, you can bring in your dimensions from ERP, Dynamics 365 Finance, so you can set up reporting at the role level so that users can only see data relevant to their roles. So you really don't want to be showing people information they shouldn't be seeing. Minimizes the risk of unauthorized access, obviously protecting sensitive information. And there's a new and improved hub to find all your reports and your insights. And really importantly, track change management. Who changed this? When was it changed? Why was it changed? So rather than you just seeing the latest version and not knowing why, you can start to see what happened and when. Really useful stuff. But more into the finance core. So by core, we just mean the kind of business process, Dynamics 365 Finance itself, not requiring additional license over and above the Dynamics 365 Finance. So a lot of it will involve Copilot, and a lot of it is about making your life easier, or the life of your staff. So the reconciliation agent. So your subledgers to general ledger. Most often they'll be absolutely fine and they will match up, no reconciliation problems. The initial release will cover sales ledger and purchase ledger, tax and bank, or accounts payable and receivable if you're using American English. And rather than you go and have to, extract your transactions, balance them up in Excel or similar, and work out why they're not matching, it comes and tells you. So tax, everything else is fine. APAR, they're fine. Tax has some issues. So I'm going to have a look in there. I've got my unmatched transactions, and it now tells you which ones they are. They might match, tells you where to look for first. There's obviously a bit of redacted text in there. Apologies for the quality of the image there. I couldn't get a better text. So you can see that this now starts to bring the problems to you. So everything's fine apart from these 4 transactions which you need to investigate, and it's telling you about them as well. So on the right here, the reconciliation runs, what happened, when the report was done, and it's starting to give you some clues with AI on what maybe the problem might be and where to match. So historically, you'd be looking at SSRS reports, you'd be looking at general ledger balances, and this is near real time, so you can be proactively notified of any reconciliation issues, and Copilot is in there helping you try and fix those problems. Excel experiences. Any accountants on the call will be very happy. So this is a March 2025 preview, so we'll try and get access to that around then, maybe a bit before, and show you. I'll get one of my finance colleagues or myself to show you this, and really, really useful, empowering tools. So you can use Excel to analyze variances directly connected to finance, but in a natural area you're used to. And Excel has now Copilot for Finance as an embedded add-in in Excel. So look at the variances, and you can define the variance criteria with natural language. So rather than have to write, queries and macros and things, you just tell Excel and tell Copilot and Excel what you want to analyze. I want this to match to this. I want to look for variances which are not within 5% or more than $100 or £100. You can say, describe like that, and the tool will translate it into the language that Excel needs. Copilot will generate the variance analysis for you, and then it's ready to use in a report form. So rather than do all of this crunching and then think, right, I now need to present this to stakeholders, it's already ready for stakeholders. So the agent, the Copilot agent that is, will help you by preparing the data. So it will help you remove outliers, clean the data, make sure it's sanitized and ready to run. And it will also help you auto-generate matching rules to say, what variances where they're matching up. And then the collaboration. So you can share, of course, direct with Excel. You can output to PowerPoint slides, and it helps include stakeholders, keep them aware, up to date with this variances which you've analyzed. Much, much easier in Excel. One of the really useful tools about Copilot is it can go and search data and come to conclusions which may have taken you a long time to get to. Or, just searching through forms, doing filters to find out, right, I need to filter based on this, and then I need to look at what's been receipted, what's not been receipted, any issues. Copilot Vendor Invoice Assistant, it's integrated directly into the pending invoices list. So for those of you who use Dynamics day to day, this is one of the workspaces. As you can see, the Vendor Invoice Center, and it's giving you some useful information there. Invoices which have not been imported correctly, invoices which are manual and pending, which of the invoices are kind of running. So you can see here that I've got some receipt match errors, some are in processing, and what's happening basically. So some are completed, not posted, some are in workflow. So, I may be waiting for somebody to approve that invoice. But also now you can see that there are invoices not paid and in receipt problems. So the next bit, hopefully you can read that okay, it explains what's happened and what's not happened.
Everything.
Just do some, thank you, Debbie. So yes, this invoice is in a pending status for what reason? The invoice does not match the product receipts. So this could have taken you a little while to find out. So now that you can go and check the related product receipts, you can contact the right manager. So this is saying contact the warehouse manager so you can understand what's going on. There's a direct button to email. So this has saved a huge amount of time. I can't complete my month end. I can't pay this invoice because I've not been receipted. Rather than go off and do a load of work, you click a button and it tells you the problem. And it tells you how to resolve that, and it helps you contact them. So this one tool in itself could save a huge amount of time in businesses who are processing a lot of invoices. I should just mention in future releases, Copilot will help with corrections around failed prepayments and also any submission errors to workflow. It will find those and help you out with those as well. But the first release is as you see here. Some miscellaneous finance bits. So the advanced bank reconciliation has already been released. But in future, in the next release, it will automate all the things you can see there. So posting vouchers, posting customer payment journals, open invoices, settlements with the bank statement line. So if you import your bank statements, it can treat that as a payment you can see. Let's match those off against the invoices. And bridging account reversal and main account posting. You used to have to bridge those transactions and then do the reversal manually and then post in the main account. When it sees those transactions come in, you can configure it to automatically match them, just post that bridging account reversal. And enhanced reconciliation report. Financial tags, for those who are not aware, financial tags are kind of a more lightweight equivalent of financial dimensions. You can define up to 20 user-defined fields, and it can be anything you want really that's useful to stamp on financial transactions that isn't a dimension. So you can track subledger data in invoicing now. So purchase order numbers, vendor names, maybe, instead of using financial dimensions, improve performance, make it a bit easier. You can put the likes of purchase order and accounting distributions on purchase orders, maybe the product receipt, all of that kind of stuff you can put on, and you can put the rules on, and I'll show you the rules on the next screen using natural language. So I want, can you match this to this to this? I'm going to add this on these transactions, please, and it will build the rules for you to apply, rather than you have to kind of laboriously create these rules where this equals this. This will make more sense on the next screen. Automated cash application. You know, why manually create and post these things if the system can, you know, tell you this is what we should be doing, this is what we should be posting, and you can automate those with matching rules. And general things, prepayment invoices against prepaid sales order lines. That wasn't possible before, now you can do it. And things like quality of life stuff, that you can reverse a posted PO invoice. If it's done in error for whatever reason, you can now just do that out of the box. So as you can see, automatically tagging, what I've said here, I don't know if you can see that, but defaultly created by user into the user tag on the account and offset accounts. So this is that's just typed in as a natural language. Up here you can see use AI to create the rule, and it then explodes that into a rule for you, and it saves that rule so that in future, whenever this happens, you can see the rule itself, if transaction intercompany, all of that kind of stuff. You can just type natural language, and then in future your financial transactions which match this rule will be tagged appropriately. So really handy for analysis, really handy for kind of keeping more almost metadata against your financial transactions without having to create another financial dimension. Supply chain management, it'll come no surprise to say that Copilot and AI is hugely the huge focus, massive investment to help you do your jobs easier, quicker, save money. Bit of planning and procurement, but the things I'm really interested in here are the supplier communication agent and the manufacturing traceability, which I really like. So the supplier communication agent, this helps you manage procurement tasks such as, you know, vendor communication, supply disruption, in ensuring smooth communication. So if you need to talk to your suppliers, you need to tell people you're not going to get the supply they're expecting. So you can see this is they call it an agent skill. Copilot has agent skill. So this one is basically saying, as you can see, any vendor sends an email to this address. I'm allowing access into purchasing at Contoso with confirmed purchase orders, and it basically saying check these things and apply some rules to see how that affects our supply. So here I am, I'm Daisy, I've come in. One email couldn't be automatically processed, so I'll go and have a look at that email to see if there's any information I need to act on. But you can see purchase order updates, how many have we received, all the processing, on time and delivery, that kind of thing. A useful link out to workspaces. But more than that, what it actually allows you to do is see changes. So update those purchase orders. I've had an email in with a request to change the delivery date. So before, this would be a manual process. I'd have that email, I'd be like, oh, right, I need to go and update that, and what's the impact? So you can see the actual email that's come in. You can see what the change summary that Copilot thinks is going to happen, and you can see here what the inventory prediction is going to do. So are there stockouts within the lead time, that kind of thing, and you can see the difference. And if you click into here, it gives you more impact analysis. So this is where Copilot is getting information that you're providing it to, looking into your finance system and giving you some really clear, actionable information about, we need to do something about this. The supplier, we're going to upset our customer. We're not going to be able to meet our production dates, all by just configuring this, tool. And it'll be able to, you can do outgoing emails as well, update your suppliers, get that communication going. But this is a really great start, so we will show you this one as soon as I have access to it. One thing actually I mentioned, so one of the things it can do is automatically send reminders to suppliers that haven't yet responded to a purchase inquiry. So all of those kind of things, it allows you to kind of chase them without remembering to or setting reminders yourself. So you can see what the impact analysis would be. So I've just clicked in there. The purchase orders changed. I've got less than I expected. This production's fine, but actually some production runs here, and I can click further in and see that actually I've got problems now with my production due to delayed purchase orders. Demand planning, for those who are using it, there's some much better prompts now. So this would be a prompt to get some data, and I can click that prompt and it'll analyze my data and give you quite a useful description of what's actually happening, what's increased most, what's behind these shifts. And I can see here, excuse me, in my demand planning, what's going on. So those of you using demand planning, dive into these Copilot prompts because they'll just appear and they're really, really useful. The traceability add-in, which I'll show you in just a brief screenshot in a second. Again, this is one I want to demo for you. It tracks the activities against serial and finished goods. So, where is this raw material gone to that's serial tracked? My batch orders, what's gone into them, where are they, where are the serial numbers? So it allows things like if I've got faulty items, I've got a set of faulty items from a single batch, let me work out what happened in that. Let me go backwards and find out what the batch order, what was involved. Maybe we had a particularly high number of orders at that point. Maybe there was a particular batch of raw materials which caused me problems. So you can combine that with the related data to build a picture, and Copilot will do this in just a few seconds to give you all the information you need. With the point of doing all these things, accurate tracking, chain of custody, where did this thing go? The bill of materials as built, what was in it? And what's the genealogy of all of those items, a forward and backward search, which I'll show you briefly, and then a public API. So public doesn't mean that anyone can access it, it just means outside of this tool. So if you're using external systems that need traceability, you can build integrations to find information. Tell me about the history of this serial number, tell me what happened to this batch. And yeah, production floor execution interface, registering and updating serial numbers and things, components of each finished good as you go through the process. Here's an example of a backward search. For those of you, the keen eyes, you can see this is actually a Dataverse, so a Power App is driving this. So you can see for the serial number, the bike, tell me everything that went into it. I can see here the kind of levels of bill of materials, and I can see each batch number, each serial number that went into this thing. So you can see, handlebar batch 01. This allows me to see right from this bike very quickly what happened, and I can click further in. I can view this same thing as a table if I wish, and I can extract that as you'd expect. And it's ordered by composition here, where used, so you can really get a good idea of what went into each component. Conversely, you might want a forward search. So from this paint batch, where was that used? And go and see what subsequent production activities used that. So this is a really powerful tool and great addition. It's something you'd have to kind of build yourself and go through lots of forms to get to now. So be interested in any comments on this, or if people would really like to see this, or just accepting for what it is. But I think I will get this as a demo and show you more capabilities of it. Hopefully there's some questions popping in the chat. So some miscellaneous supply chain things. I would want to go into these deeper, but we're already approaching time. So capable to promise. Basically, can I make this in time? Now considers both materials and resources, so allows you to give a projected capable to deliver delivery date for each sales line. And this is kind of real time, driven by master planning, which can now, as planning optimization, run much more. Basically, you can run every time you change your plan, edit your plan. So collaboration on supply plans. Historically, you'd be building a supply plan, altering your master planning settings, and then you'd run it probably overnight. Planning optimization came in a year or two ago, probably more than that, a couple of years ago, which removed that to what we call a microservice. All you need to know about that is it's much quicker, and it doesn't impact performance of your ERP. So now we can have continuous recalculation of these plans. So no longer wait till overnight and you don't want to bring down the system. All the contributors can see the same information, what's happening across different departments, and every time you edit and save that plan, it refreshes everything. So that's a huge change. And a little bit on procurement. mobile device, I'll show you that quickly as the last thing. Approve POs and requisitions for your mobile device. So that's a nice, simple little app. Anybody who has approval roles can take that app on their phone, and rather than have to go and log on to finance or supply chain management, if there's an approval, a requisition or a PO comes to them, they can have a look, they can look at the details and they can approve it there. And contract lifecycle management system integration. This is one we may dive into as well. So it's a key element of the source to pay process. You can have a platform that we can integrate with any, within reason, an external CLM system. We'd need to build some of the integrations, but all the hooks and the requirements and the artifacts are in supply chain management now. So it supports purchase agreements, NDAs, and uses the master data from supply chain management. So that's a great enhancement, which we'll no doubt be using a lot. Quick look at the approval management app. Hopefully that's big enough for everyone watching. So you can see I've got a few purchase orders to approve here. I could just tick them and I could approve them. I could reject. I could delegate to somebody that I wanted to approve. Maybe I need more information, needs more checking, and I'm out the office, or I can request change exactly as you could within Dynamics 365 itself. So you can see what's actually in there. So I've clicked into a detail here. I can go and have a look at the workflow instructions. I can see all the relevant information that'd be useful to me deciding whether to approve this or not. And then I could even go into the line details if I needed to see specifically what's going on. Look at the workflow instructions, everything you'd be able to do with finance operations, supply chain management, I should say, but all with your mobile app. So with a single minute to go, that is all for now. So thanks everybody for patiently watching. If you want to follow us or me, you can find us on LinkedIn there. And there will be Lunch and Learns resuming in the new year, January 2025. We'll have to get used to saying 2025, and tell us what you want to hear about. If we don't hear from you, we will make it up ourselves, which is usually goes well, but we'd much rather do what you want to see.